Imagine this. You're sailing across the vast, unforgiving Mediterranean Sea, your ship laden with treasures, spices, silks, and fortunes amassed over years of tireless trading. The waves crash rhythmically against the hull. The sun glints off the water like a promise of prosperity. But in an instant, a storm erupts from nowhere, whipping the sea into a frenzy. Your vessel cracks, cargo plunges into the depths, and everything you've built vanishes beneath the foam. What do you do when fate strips you bare? Do you rage against the heavens? Or do you rebuild from the ruins? This isn't just a dramatic tale. It's the origin story of one of history's most enduring philosophies, Stoicism. Stick around, because today, we're diving into how a single catastrophe birthed a mindset that can transform your life, even in our chaotic modern world. Let's travel back to 300 BC, to the sun-baked shores of Cyprus, where a prosperous merchant named Zeno thrived. Zeno wasn't just any trader, he was a master of commerce. Navigating bustling ports from Phoenicia to Piraeus, amassing wealth that could rival kings. Picture him on deck, the salt air stinging his face, as he oversaw crates brimming with exotic goods, precious metals, fine fabrics, and rare dyes that promised endless riches. But on one fateful voyage, disaster struck. A merciless storm swallowed his ship whole, dragging every last bit of his cargo, and his fortune, into the abyss. In the blink of an eye, this affluent man was left penniless, adrift in a world that had turned against him. It was an event utterly beyond his control, a cruel twist of nature that no amount of planning could foresee. Now, pause for a moment and put yourself in Zeno's sandals. How would you handle watching your life's work dissolve into the waves? Would fury boil up inside you, hot and unrelenting? Or perhaps a deep sorrow, like a weight pressing on your chest, making every breath a struggle? Maybe you'd curse the gods, feeling utterly betrayed by the universe. For most of us, these reactions feel instinctive, almost inevitable. We lash out, we grieve, we spiral into despair. But Zeno? He chose a different path, one that would echo through centuries and inspire emperors, slaves, and everyday folks alike. This is where Stoicism begins, not as a shield against emotion, but as a profound way to navigate the storms of existence. In the aftermath of his ruin, Zeno didn't crumble. Instead, he reframed his loss as a pivotal moment, a small shift in perspective that rippled outward like a stone tossed into a still pond, creating waves of change that lasted forever. He immersed himself in the wisdom of great thinkers like Socrates, Diogenes, and Heraclitus, drawing from their ideas to forge something new. Stoicism, at its heart, embodies acceptance and a deliberate indifference to what we can't control. It's not about suppressing feelings, it's about mastering them. Zeno taught that while external events, storms, losses, betrayals, are often beyond our grasp, our internal responses are entirely ours to command. We can choose calm over chaos, resilience over regret. Think about it. Instead of wailing over spilled milk, or in Zeno's case, drowned merchandise, he maintained his composure, viewing the disaster as a neutral event, not a personal attack. This mindset allowed him to pivot, to rebuild not just his wealth, but his entire worldview. Today, many misunderstand Stoics as emotionless robots, unbreakable figures who never succumb to rage, anxiety, or joy's wild highs. Sure, they avoid emotional extremes, but that's only part of the picture. True Stoicism is richer, more vibrant. It's a lens through which we interpret the world, a practical guide for living fully amid uncertainty. Stoicism isn't merely a label for the unflappable, it's a comprehensive philosophy, a way of life that has endured for over 2 millennia. From ancient Athens to your smartphone screen, its principles apply seamlessly. Imagine applying Zeno's teachings to a modern setback, like losing your job in a sudden layoff. Rather than drowning in self-pity, you acknowledge the pain, then focus on what you can control, updating your resume, networking, or even pivoting to a new passion. The benefits? Immense. Stoicism helps us alchemize negative emotions into empowering insights, turning setbacks into stepping stones. It reminds us that perspective is power. Your view of an event shapes your reality more than the event itself. Everyone carries a unique lens, forged by personal trials and triumphs. The Stoics understood this deeply. They didn't hoard their wisdom in ivory towers or royal halls. Instead, they gathered in public spaces like the Stoipoikal in Athens, a painted porch buzzing with debates, where ideas flowed freely. Why? Because they believed Stoic principles could uplift anyone, from the humblest slave to the mightiest emperor. No gates, no fees, just open access to tools for a better life. And history proves them right. Epictetus, born a slave, rose to philosophical fame by embodying Stoic resilience, teaching that true freedom lies in the mind, not chains. Seneca, the wealthy advisor to Nero, navigated court intrigues with Stoic wisdom, penning letters that still guide us on virtue and endurance. And then there's Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor whose Meditations read like a personal journal of Stoic practice amid the pressures of ruling an empire, reminders to stay grounded, virtuous, and indifferent to fleeting fortunes. But let's expand on why Stoicism resonates so powerfully today. In our fast-paced era of social media storms, economic upheavals, and personal crises, it's a beacon of stability. Consider the dichotomy of control, a core Stoic tenet Zeno pioneered. Divide life into what's up to you, your opinions, desires, actions, and what's not, others' opinions. Weather, luck. By focusing energy on the former, you reclaim agency. Picture a traffic jam derailing your day. Stoicism whispers, you can't move the cars, but you can choose not to fume. This reframing reduces stress, boosts productivity, and fosters inner peace. Moreover, Stoicism encourages virtues like wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance as guides through life's maze. Wisdom helps discern what's truly valuable. Courage faces fears head-on. Justice promotes fairness. Temperance keeps desires in check. Apply this to relationships. When a friend betrays you, Stoicism urges empathy. Understand their flaws without letting it shatter your calm. Or in pursuing goals, setbacks aren't failures but feedback, opportunities to adapt. Thousand-year-old wisdom, yet timeless. Studies even show Stoic practices, like journaling reflections, a la Marcus Aurelius, can lower anxiety and improve well-being. It's not about being passive, it's active engagement with life on your terms. As Zeno demonstrated, one shipwreck can sink a fortune but launch a philosophy that buoys millions. So, if you're feeling overwhelmed by life's unpredictability, Stoicism offers a lifeline. It's inclusive, practical, and transformative, available to all, just as the ancient Stoics intended. From Zeno's fateful voyage to your daily grind, the message endures. Control what you can, accept what you can't, and thrive regardless. What small reframing could change your life today? Stay tuned for more on how to weave Stoic habits into your routine. You won't want to miss it. Building on the legacy of Zeno and the timeless appeal of Stoicism, let's delve deeper into the remarkable figures who embodied this philosophy and how it championed equality in ways that still inspire us today. Among the world's most notable Stoics were individuals from every walk of life, proving that wisdom isn't confined by status or circumstance. Take Epictetus, whose name literally means acquired, a stark reminder that he was born into slavery, owned as property before rising to become one of history's greatest teachers. Then there's Seneca, the eloquent statesman and advisor to emperors, whose writings on virtue and resilience influenced generations. And towering above them all was Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor who wielded unimaginable power yet chose to journal his innermost thoughts in Meditations, reminding himself daily to stay humble and just. These weren't armchair philosophers, they lived Stoicism in the trenches of real life, facing chains, court intrigues, and the burdens of ruling an empire with unyielding calm. What truly set the early Stoics apart was their unwavering commitment to practicing what they preached, dismantling barriers and leading the charge against inequality in a divided ancient world. They rejected segregation in all its forms, advocating for a universal brotherhood that transcended class, origin, or creed. In fact, they coined the term cosmopolitan, which translates to citizen of the world, a radical idea back then, envisioning humanity as one vast, interconnected community. Today, when we hear cosmopolitan, our minds drift to vibrant melting pots like New York with its skyline of dreams. Toronto's multicultural neighborhoods echoing with a dozen languages, Dubai's gleaming fusion of East and West, or London's historic streets alive with global flavors. But for the Stoics, it was more than a label, it was a call to unity. A vision of togetherness where differences enriched rather than divided. Imagine a world where borders blur not through conquest, but through shared virtues. That's the harmony they fought for. One reasoned argument at a time. In an era when philosophy was often a male-dominated domain, with women barred from intellectual pursuits, the Stoics boldly challenged the status quo. They believed virtue knew no gender, and this conviction shone through in their teachings. Musonius Rufus, the revered mentor to Epictetus, captured this essence perfectly when he declared, "It is not men alone who possess eagerness and a natural inclination towards virtue, but women also. Women are pleased no less than men by noble and just deeds, and reject the opposite of such actions. Since that is so, why is it appropriate for men to seek out and examine how they might live well, that is, to practice philosophy, but not women?" His words were a beacon in a patriarchal society, inviting women to join the Stoic fold without hesitation. As a result, women not only learned about Stoicism but embraced it fully, becoming practitioners who applied its principles to navigate life's challenges with grace and fortitude. Think of Portia Catonis, daughter of Cato the Younger and wife to Brutus, who embodied Stoic endurance by reportedly testing her resolve through self-inflicted pain to prove her strength, a testament to how Stoicism empowered women to claim their place in a world that often silenced them. So, why does Stoicism continue to draw so many seekers in our unpredictable modern age? In a whirlwind of surprises, job losses, heartbreaks, global upheavals, our emotions often hijack the wheel, steering us into turmoil. But here's the Stoic insight. We don't truly grieve because bad things happen. We grieve because unexpected bad things catch us off guard. Consider rain, that simple force of nature. It's inherently beneficial, nourishing crops with gentle persistence, quenching the thirst of animals in sun-scorched fields, and tempering the air with a cool, misty embrace. Yet, when those gray clouds unleash a downpour just as you're stepping out without an umbrella, soaking you to the bone, it feels like a personal affront. Why don't we burst into tears every time? Because we've come to expect it. Rain is inevitable. Beyond our command. We grumble, perhaps, but then we adapt, shake off the droplets, seek shelter, and wait for the sun to reclaim the sky. Stoicism extends this logic to all of life's storms, urging us to anticipate the worst not with dread, but with quiet preparation. What if you visualized the direst scenarios, a failed project, a shattered relationship, and met them with acceptance? By expecting adversity, we rob it of its power to devastate, turning potential chaos into manageable reality. This mindset fosters profound resilience, and the Stoics had practical exercises to cultivate it, like voluntary discomfort, a deliberate plunge into hardship to heighten our appreciation for everyday comforts. Imagine trading your plush bed for the cold, unyielding floor of your kitchen, letting the tiles press against your back as a reminder of true necessity. Or swapping steamy showers for icy blasts that jolt your senses awake. Teaching your body to endure without complaint. For a few days, subsist on nothing but plain potatoes, boiled, mashed, or raw, stripping meals to their essence and rediscovering the simple joy of sustenance. These aren't masochistic rituals, they're tools to build gratitude, to remind us that luxury is fleeting while inner strength endures. In today's world, you could adapt this by fasting intermittently, walking barefoot on rough paths, or unplugging from devices to face silence head-on. Such practices recalibrate our expectations, making ordinary blessings feel extraordinary. After all, if you can thrive in discomfort by choice, how much more equipped are you for the unchosen trials that life hurls your way? Stoicism, then, isn't about numbing yourself to the world, it's about engaging with it fully. Armed with perspective and poise. From the diverse Stoic icons who bridged societal gaps to the empowering inclusion of women and the life-affirming exercises that ground us. This philosophy offers a roadmap for anyone seeking calm amid the chaos. As we explore further, you'll see how these ancient ideas can revolutionize your daily routine. Stay with me, because the best is yet to come. building on the Stoic practice of voluntary discomfort, which sharpens our gratitude and steels our resolve. Let's explore how this philosophy equips us to face life's inevitable hardships with a mindset primed for survival, and even triumph. At its core, voluntary discomfort isn't about self-punishment, it's a rehearsal for the unpredictable. A way to whisper to yourself, no matter how tough it gets, you'll endure. Picture this. You're huddled on that chilly kitchen floor, muscles aching from the unyielding tiles, or shivering under a cascade of cold water that bites like winter's first frost. These moments aren't mere endurance tests, they're mental fortifications, preparing your psyche for future storms. By willingly embracing unease, we train our minds to view adversity not as a destroyer, but as a teacher. In Stoicism's embrace, we learn that the right perspective can turn potential breakdowns into breakthroughs, fostering resilience that echoes through every challenge. In today's relentless world, where glossy ads bombard us from every screen, peddling the illusion that happiness hinges on the latest gadget, a flawless appearance, or a bulging bank account, Stoicism's message rings truer than ever. We're bombarded with whispers, or shouts, that without these externals, fulfillment is forever out of reach. But pause and ask, is that the life we want? Chasing shadows that fade? We arrive in this world as blank slates, wide-eyed and innocent, absorbing lessons from family hearths, schoolroom desks, and the raw theater of everyday existence. Yet these sources often pull us in conflicting directions. Home teaches tradition, school drills facts, and the world reveals harsh truths. The real question lingers. Must we swallow every bit of this knowledge whole? If we do, we risk inflating our expectations like fragile balloons, only to watch them pop under reality's weight, leaving us adrift in disappointment and regret. That's no blueprint for a vibrant life, it's a recipe for quiet despair. Instead, Stoicism urges us to pivot inward, cultivating self-improvement purely for our own sake. Imagine pursuing goals not for applause or accolades, but for the quiet satisfaction of personal growth, like tending a garden solely for the bloom of your own spirit. When we tether our actions to external rewards, be it praise, possessions, or partnerships, we court inevitable letdown. Too often, we chase these mirages to fill inner voids, splurging on sleek cars that gleam under showroom lights, sprawling homes that promise security, or even building families in hopes of external validation. But here's the Stoic wake-up call. These pursuits, when driven by outward shine rather than inner worth, surrender your joy to fickle forces. Cars rust and falter on rainy roads. Earthquakes or floods can erase neighborhoods in a heartbeat. And relationships, as statistics grimly show, fracture more frequently with each passing year. Even the so-called free joys of life exact a toll, the subtle cost of clutter, both in our spaces and our souls. As Seneca wisely penned, learning to live with less will create space in your life for the things that truly matter to you. It's a gentle reminder to declutter not just our shelves, but our minds, making room for what endures, kindness, wisdom, and self-mastery. Stoicism teaches us to anchor happiness in our intrinsic human value, the unshakable core that no storm can strip away, rather than in fleeting acquisitions or accolades. What if we chose, in every turbulent moment, to maintain a steady helm, cool and composed, no matter the gale? Because, at day's end, our desires dance on the edge of uncertainty. We command so little of what befalls us, fortunes rise and fall like tides. Health ebbs without warning, opportunities slip through fingers like sand. Yet, in this vast sea of uncontrollables, we hold absolute sway over one realm, our reactions. This is the dichotomy of control, Stoicism's cornerstone principle, a beacon illuminating the path to true freedom. It divides the world into what's ours to shape, our thoughts, choices, attitudes, and what's not, freeing us from futile struggles. Embrace it, and watch anxiety dissolve. Apply it daily, perhaps by journaling like Marcus Aurelius, reflecting on what you can influence amid chaos. In modern twists, Stoics might meditate on traffic snarls or market dips, choosing equanimity over eruption. This isn't passive surrender, it's empowered living, turning life's curveballs into chances for grace. As we wrap this thread of Stoic wisdom, remember, these ancient tools aren't relics, They're timeless allies for navigating our noisy, needy world. By internalizing them, we don't just survive, we flourish. One mindful choice at a time. Up next, we'll uncover more practices to infuse your days with Stoic strength. Don't go anywhere. Echoing the dichotomy of control that empowers us to master our reactions amid life's uncertainties. Let's turn to Epictetus's timeless wisdom on distinguishing what truly belongs to us from the whims of fate. In Epictetus's own profound words, the chief task in life is simply this: to identify and separate matters so that I can say clearly to myself which are externals not under my control, and which have to do with the choices I actually control. This isn't just ancient advice, it's a blueprint for sanity in a world that loves to test us. Stoics emphasize the vital skill of drawing that line between the controllable and the uncontrollable. Like a skilled cartographer mapping out safe paths through treacherous terrain, we must root our self-worth not in fleeting externals, like wealth, status, or others' opinions, but in the steadfast elements we command: our integrity, efforts, and attitudes. Pursuing ambitions is admirable, a spark of human drive, but crumbling when plans veer off course. From a Stoic lens, that's like raging at the wind for scattering leaves, utterly futile. Take the world of content creation. For instance, making YouTube videos might seem worlds apart from ruling an empire like Marcus Aurelius. Yet it brims with its own trials and triumphs. Imagine the journey. You spark an idea in the quiet hours, nurturing it like a fragile flame, only to research deeply, scrap it in a moment of honest critique because it falls flat, and dive back in with fresh vigor. Then comes scripting, where words weave into a narrative, filming, capturing that raw energy, editing, polishing rough edges into shine, and finally, crafting a thumbnail that beckons clicks, a title that hooks curiosity, all before that pivotal upload button. Up to that point, it's your domain, your creativity, your hustle, your choices shaping every frame. But once uploaded, the reins pass to the enigmatic YouTube algorithm, a digital oracle dictating visibility in ways as unpredictable as ancient omens. Yet, so many creators tether their sense of success to metrics beyond their grasp, views piling up like autumn leaves, subscribers swelling like a rising tide, or followers on Instagram echoing distant applause. Stoicism gently redirects us. Measure triumph by the sweat and soul you invest, not the harvest fate delivers. What if you poured your heart into a video, knowing the outcome dances on algorithmic winds, yet found fulfillment in the craft itself? That's trusting the process, a Stoic mantra that liberates us from disappointment's grip. Living with less, as Seneca advocated, means shedding those self-imposed societal shackles, the invisible chains of consumerism, comparison, and conditional joy that we often forge ourselves. Picture a dedicated employee who's toiled tirelessly for 6 months, honing skills like a blacksmith at the forge. Convinced a promotion is his due reward, he strides into the boss's office, performance report in hand, a testament to late nights and breakthroughs, only to hear a curt "thanks" with no advancement in sight. Deflated, he slumps home, questioning his worth, his abilities crumbling like sandcastles under waves. But Stoicism invites a deeper gaze. Maybe the boss awoke to bad news, clouding judgment. Perhaps another colleague edged ahead in qualifications, or the company's sales through financial squalls. Unable to spare the raise, the why remains veiled, yet the upset festers. Now, reframe it stoically. Anchor your value in the excellence of that report, the consistent grind that built it, and persist with quiet determination. Happiness blooms not from the denied promotion, but from knowing you've honored your potential. The goal isn't erased, merely deferred, like a seed waiting for spring's thaw. This mental pivot is Stoicism's magic. It transforms roadblocks into reroutes, fostering resilience that outlasts any setback. In our hyper-connected age, where social media parades highlight reels and success stories, embracing this reframing shields us from envy's sting. Epictetus, once enslaved yet freer in mind than his captors, exemplified it, focusing on his teaching's depth rather than his chain's weight. Extend this to daily life. A rejected manuscript for an aspiring writer, a missed opportunity in love. These aren't verdicts on your essence but echoes of the uncontrollable. Stoics like Seneca remind us to cultivate virtues as our true currency. Unstealable and evergreen. Practice daily reflections. At day's end, ask, did I control what I could? Did I respond with wisdom? Such habits build an inner fortress, impervious to external sieges. In essence, Stoicism doesn't promise a storm-free sea. It equips you with an unbreakable sail, guiding you to harbor no matter the gales. As we weave these threads together, remember, this philosophy isn't rigid doctrine but a living art, adaptable to your unique voyage. Stay tuned. We're just scratching the surface of Stoic secrets that could redefine your world. Drawing from the crucial art of reframing our mindset to embrace delays as mere detours rather than defeats. Let's uncover how a true Stoic measures success, not by the glitter of gold, but by the quiet strength of a life unburdened by excess. A genuine Stoic doesn't chase triumphs through the lens of financial windfalls or lavish acquisitions. Instead, they find deep solace in knowing they can thrive comfortably amid simplicity, free from the chains of material cravings. Imagine standing atop a mountain of achievements, yet deriving joy not from the view's opulence, but from the inner peace that whispers, "This is enough." This perspective anchors Stoicism's four cardinal virtues: wisdom, courage, temperance, and justice, each a pillar supporting a resilient existence. Much like ancient columns holding up the Stoa where these ideas first echoed. Wisdom, the keen navigator of the soul, teaches us to discern sharply between the internal realm we command and the external chaos we cannot. It's the power to pause in that fleeting gap between event and emotion, choosing our response with deliberate grace. As Viktor Frankl, the Holocaust survivor and psychiatrist who echoed Stoic echoes in his own philosophy, so poignantly put it, between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space is our power to choose our response. What if, in your next heated moment, a cutting remark from a colleague or an unexpected setback, you claimed that space, transforming knee-jerk anger into thoughtful resolve? This virtue isn't abstract, it's practical, urging us to view misfortunes as neutral events, colored only by our interpretations, just as Epictetus advised in his Enchiridion, reminding us that it's not things that disturb us, but our judgments about them. Courage, boiled down to its essence in two potent words, persist and resist, fuels the Stoics' unyielding march forward. It's the quiet bravery of facing fears head-on, not with reckless abandon, but with steady endurance, like a lone tree bending but unbroken in a gale. In daily life, this might mean persisting through a grueling workout when every muscle screams surrender, or resisting the siren call of distractions to focus on meaningful work. Seneca, ever the vivid storyteller, likened courage to a gladiator in the arena, not seeking the fight, but meeting it with unflinching poise when it arrives. Then comes temperance, or moderation, which I just exemplified by distilling courage into a mere duo of words, doing more with less, saying volumes through simplicity. It's the art of restraint, curbing excesses to savor what's truly vital. While titans like Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk duel for dominance on wealth rankings, vying for ever higher peaks on Forbes's lists, Stoics advocate a humbler summit, accumulate only what's essential, then settle into what's sufficient. Picture a modest table laden not with feasts, but with nourishing basics: bread, water, companionship, and feeling richer than any billionaire's banquet. This virtue guards against the hollow pursuit of more, reminding us, as Marcus Aurelius noted in his Meditations, that true abundance lies in self-sufficiency, not in stockpiles that can vanish like mist. But justice reigns supreme among these virtues, the crowning guide that binds us all in mutual respect. It decrees that we inflict no harm on others, for we enter this world intertwined, destined to uplift one another rather than hoard for ourselves. It's the recognition that every act ripples outward, fostering harmony in a fractured world. Consider Nelson Mandela, the iconic South African leader whose life became a living testament to Stoic justice. Locked in the grim confines of prison for 27 years during his stand against apartheid's cruel divisions, he could have emerged vengeful, a storm of retribution. Yet, upon release and ascension to presidency, he defied expectations, not by wielding the sword of punishment against his oppressors, but by extending an olive branch of reconciliation. During those long years behind bars, Mandela delved into Marcus Aurelius's Meditations, absorbing Stoicism's core tenets that shaped his unshakable calm. Rather than demanding vengeance, he called for healing, urging his nation to release the past's grip, a shadow beyond control, and channel energy into forging a united future. Relax and rebuild, he implored, embodying the Stoic path of focusing on what's actionable, building bridges where walls once stood. What greater justice than turning personal suffering into collective progress? Proving that forgiveness isn't weakness, but the ultimate strength? This enduring wisdom doesn't gather dust in history books, it pulses through modern practices. Like rational emotive behavioral therapy, REBT, and logotherapy. Both rooted in Stoic soil. REBT, pioneered by Albert Ellis, equips us to unearth those sneaky negative thought patterns fueling emotional turmoil, say. The belief that a single failure defines your worth. By challenging them with cold logic, we dismantle illusions. Is that fear truly grounded? Or just a phantom? Replace it with balanced views. And watch anxiety fade, much like clearing fog from a window to reveal a clearer horizon. Logotherapy, Viktor Frankl's brainchild, draws directly from Stoicism's emphasis on purpose as our driving force. Even in despair's depths, a job loss, a health crisis, it posits that meaning awaits discovery, urging us to seek it not in fleeting pleasures, but in contributions that outlast us. Stoicism, then, weaves these virtues into a tapestry of empowered living, adaptable from ancient forums to today's therapy sessions. As we blend them into our routines, perhaps through morning reflections on wisdom or evening acts of justice, we cultivate a life not just endured, but embraced. Hang tight. Next, we'll explore how these principles ignite real-world transformations. Building on the Stoic-rooted therapies like logotherapy that illuminate our innate drive for purpose. Even in the shadows of adversity, let's explore how uncovering that inner calling can infuse our days with profound meaning and joy. We can flood our lives with genuine meaning and happiness by embarking on the quest to unearth our true purpose, a beacon that guides us through the fog of existence. But as anyone who's stared into the mirror of self-reflection knows, this isn't a quick fix or a magic spell, it's a journey fraught with twists. Much like Zeno's own odyssey from shipwreck to sage, easier said than done, right? What if your purpose feels as elusive as a whisper in a whirlwind? The Stoics remind us it's a gradual process, a deliberate rewiring of the mind where we sweep out outdated habits and welcome fresh perspectives. Out with the old patterns of chasing illusions, in with the new armor of introspection, like pruning an overgrown garden to let the strongest blooms thrive. To mend our fractured relationship with happiness, Stoicism calls us to cultivate self-worth as a daily ritual, much like Marcus Aurelius jotting his meditations under the dim light of a campaign tent. By shifting our sense of value toward what we truly command, our choices, virtues, and efforts, we break free from the exhausting fixation on uncontrollables, the opinions of others, the whims of fortune, or the relentless march of time. Imagine standing firm like an ancient oak in a tempest, roots deep in your intrinsic worth, while superficial storms rage around you. This redirection isn't just philosophical fluff, it's a practical lifeline. Epictetus, the former slave who became a master teacher, embodied it by declaring, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." Apply this, and watch as anxiety loosens its grip, perhaps during a heated argument. Where you choose composure over chaos, or in pursuing a dream job, valuing your preparation over the unpredictable outcome. Stoicism, in its timeless elegance, serves as our steadfast captain, navigating us through the turbulent waves of past regrets and present trials toward serene horizons of peace. It equips us with tools like negative visualization, premeditatio malorum, where we mentally rehearse worst-case scenarios. Not to dwell in dread, but to foster gratitude for the present and readiness for whatever comes. Picture sailing a fragile vessel across life's vast ocean. If the ship succumbs to the depths and we meet an untimely end, we can drift into eternity with tranquil hearts, knowing we've lived virtuously, even if our voyage was cut short. For as Seneca wisely observed, life is long if you know how to use it. Everything, after all, has its finale. The grand play of existence curtains close. Empires crumble like sandcastles at high tide. Relationships evolve or fade. Yet in accepting this impermanence, we unlock true freedom, savoring each moment without the weight of eternal expectations. Embracing Stoicism isn't about Stoic suppression, it's about vibrant living, aligned with purpose and poise. Start small. Reflect nightly on your day's choices. Seek virtues in challenges, and let purpose emerge like dawn breaking over a misty field. Your life, rewired this way, becomes not a series of battles, but a harmonious symphony. If this journey resonates, hit that subscribe button on Rise of the Stoic for more insights to elevate your mindset. Join our community of modern Stoics today. And let's rise together.